Screw the audio and video test. We'll do it live. Fuck it, we'll do it live. All right, I'm just starting the audio.
Yep.
How about you? Yes, it's fine. All right, 30th May 2018. Today is Wednesday, 6:45 p.m. And here we go. Yeah, look at this. CPU 100%.
Wow.
Not good, man. Not good. Anyway. All right, first things first. What brings you to Latvia? And what are your impressions so far?
Well, I was traveling around, going from east to west. Started from China and now heading to France on the land. And I wanted to stop by one of the Baltic countries. And I was told by many travelers that Riga was a wonderful city. And I think it's one of the biggest also. So I thought to have a good impression of that country would be pretty good one, and also it's close to the sea, so I wanted to go see that.
So it's fairly improvised then.
Yeah, it is. So my travel is fairly improvised.
So you started in China.
Yeah.
All right, so what are the comparisons? What is your impression about Riga? A bit about, I mean, it's difficult to judge about Latvia from just Riga, I guess, but still, what are your impressions so far?
Well, physically it's a very flat city.
I guess so. Yeah.
I mean, physically. So
yeah.
So that's it's very beautiful. It's old. I've been to some parts. I mean, obviously, I've spent most of my time in the center, which is mostly touristy, and I've had a look at some of other places, like on the other side of the river, and I think it would be more interesting to go just to grab a bike and just drive around all town. But I haven't had the chance to do that yet. But yeah, it seems very nice. People are nice. It means for the first time in my whole travel, most of the people can speak English, which is wonderful. It's easy to get by. And yeah, it's my first country in Europe so far, so it's a good gateway, I think.
What are the next stops?
I'm leaving tomorrow night for Warsaw in Poland. Yes.
Any plans for it?
No, kind of like this. I stay one night at a hostel and then meet some people there maybe, and then couch surf and come and meet again the other travelers from the hostel and do activities or such things.
So what is let's say the end date for your travels and the destination? Back to Canada?
Yeah, back to Montreal. I will take a plane in Paris because that's the cheapest one to go to Montreal. Because Paris and Montreal have a lot of flights, the top two largest French-speaking cities. So
that's what I wanted to ask. So is Montreal French-speaking?
Yeah.
How much? They have 4 provinces over there, or what?
In Canada?
Canada, yeah.
There's 5 provinces and 2 territories, which makes 7 total. If I'm right, I'm not sure.
They're sort of like municipalities or states?
Yeah, it's kind of like states, but yeah, it's kind of like states. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So Montreal would be...
Montreal is like a city, which is in the province of Quebec, which is one of the 5 provinces in Canada, and we speak French there. As for the rest
Canadian French, right?
Yeah, it's not the same as a French.
So what do you say? You say fin de semaine, right?
Fin de semaine. Yeah. You know that.
Yeah, because the French just say le weekend, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly. It's some funny things, with a lot of words that we don't borrow from English, but we do borrow some. Sometimes we do use a sentence, we literally translate it in French. And though it's not syntactically correct in French, we just say it literally translated.
Yeah, it's just a literal translation. Why not?
Yeah.
You can understand it.
Yeah, you can understand it, but it's not grammatically correct or anything. And people are yeah, that's weird. You cannot use that. I don't know.
It's a funny situation, right? Over there, you speak French, but somehow you are related governmentally to England, right?
Yeah, it's kind of symbolic.
Is it? Doesn't Trudeau pledge his allegiance to the Queen or something like that?
Yeah. But that's like,
See?
yeah, it is.
That's some conspiracy about to happen.
Yeah, I know, and a lot of people are not happy about this, especially like in Quebec, I would say, because we have a lot of like hard feelings against the British for a long time.
Why?
Because we speak French.
Wait, what do you mean? Just a typical, like the stereotypical French antagonism towards other big states?
No, it's not. It's because
or just particularly the English.
It's mostly about the language. I mean, like there's some historical issues, of course, but like
what are those?
Just the fact that most of the time, the province of Quebec was called the province of Quebec for a long time.
All right.
Now it's called La Province du Québec. It's in French.
Okay, yeah.
And before, French was not recognized as an official language of Canada. So, what happens when you speak a language in a country and it's not official? Slowly people start washing it away because we don't teach it at school, and which was a huge issue for a long time, because if you wanted to go to school, and it was mostly in English unless you wanted to go to Catholic school. Mm-hmm. So yeah, for a long time it was like a bit oppression by the government for not supporting the French language, and then it changed in the early 20th century, and everything got better, and yeah.
So now you have two official languages, bilingual.
Yeah.
But it's not all over Canada, right? It's just only in those particular provinces.
Yeah, of course. In Quebec, we have...
Sounds complicated.
It is. There's a lot of issues. I was going to say, like, in Quebec, we have 80% bilingual, French-English, and the rest of Canada is 12%. And, But, yeah, it's complicated. We had, like, 2 referendums, and one in 1980 and one in 1995.
In Canada?
Yeah, voting for the separation of Quebec from Canada.
So what didn't you do?
Oh, some people were afraid.
Oh wait, so you weren't probably born then, right?
No, I wasn't born.
Yeah, because I was about to blame you, but yeah.
No.
That would be too soon.
Yeah.
But would you have any other referendums?
I would. Some people wouldn't now. It's because the French sentiment is like the sovereignist sentiment is less strong now. Because we're assimilated by a lot of culture. Like American culture is just spreading everywhere in the world, as you could probably see by yourself, even around Europe, and God, is it strong in China also? In
China?
Yeah, in some ways.
Probably in the cities, right?
Yeah, in the cities. I mean, fashion and image and everything.
I would imagine in rural China they still just put some rice sacks and then
they plow by hand.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
So what would you say? What's the most I don't know. I wouldn't say most backwards region you've seen, but still, you know what I mean? The most not civilized looking region you've been to.
It was like a little village on top of a mountain, and it was very funny because there was no water circulation, and if you want to take a bath, you have to grab a lot of how do you call this? Big pots of water,
some jug.
Yeah, a jug. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so you just fill it up from the river or the well. You have a pump, and you just fill a tub and heat some up and.
Oh, so basically the shower is a bucket.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, why not? I guess it's maybe for 1 or 2 days it's fairly exotic, right?
Yeah, it was nice.
But for a permanent stay, not that much.
Well, they do have good water in the summer.
You mean in the well?
Yeah, well, they can install a pump in the summer and have tap water and everything run.
But only in the summer?
Yeah, because in the winter there's too much ice.
It freezes.
Yeah.
So, see, we have 24/7, 365, right? Running water and everything.
Yeah.
One to none for us.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was really fun because when I was there was a lot of electricity outage. And
where was it?
It was in Sichuan province. In China, it's a province in the center of China, and it's close to the Himalayan mountain range.
All right.
And so I went in that mountain range, and I found this little village, and it was an amazing place. Yeah.
So basically, you just what did you do? Just hike a mountain?
Oh yeah. It's close to a mountain called Sigunyang.
Yeah.
Which is a Four Sister Mountain, and it's the base village was like 3,200 meters altitude, and that was really cool. We could climb on the mountain next. Yeah, it was quite nice.
Oh, you were a group then?
Oh no! I said we as like any traveler. I went there alone, and it was really funny because I was like the first guest of I think I was because the season had just opened. There was still a lot of snow around.
Did you find the village just by coincidence, or were you?
On the internet.
Oh, so you?
It's like they have electricity and everything. It's just that when winter comes, they have lower they have less
electricity and water.
Yeah, especially running water. Yeah.
Well,
resources. Yeah.
It's crazy, right? 21st century, but still so different regions.
Oh yeah, of course.
You would imagine by some time everybody would have Wi-Fi and everything.
Yeah, well, which was really funny because I was there in that village and I had my phone and I had like a data plan for internet in China, and it was in 4,000 meters.
For all of China?
Yeah.
Wow.
It works very good.
How much did it cost?
Oh, I got it free.
What?
From a couch surfer.
Damn.
He worked at China Mobile, and he told me like, do you want a SIM card with unlimited data? I'm like, are you kidding? And I'm like, yeah, sure, I want it. So yeah, he got me one. He actually was not the couch surfer.
Well played.
It was the roommate of my couch surfer. Yeah.
So he was Chinese?
Yeah.
Wow. Look at you.
Yeah, but it was really awesome.
Do you have still the unlimited data plan for China?
I have the SIM card, but it doesn't work here. So.
Well, but when you get back, it would, right?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe.
I think so too.
Have to send Felix a little message and ask him.
Bada bing. Yeah. So, talking about Canada, actually, you know what interests me most? How come Canadians are so renowned for their politeness?
Oh, I have no idea. I don't. We're not that much, actually. So, I mean, the most extravagant ones, people think they're American.
You mean just because they speak English?
No. I mean, I was thinking about like celebrities. Like the most extravagant ones, people think they're American. So maybe.
You mean the most prominent Canadian celebrities that people think that they are American?
Yeah. Well, originally Canadian.
Who would be the most prominent nowadays? I would guess Drake, Ryan Reynolds.
Justin Bieber is Canadian.
Oh yeah, probably. Well, but Bieber, he's on the downfall, right?
Yeah, he is.
He turned to Jesus or stuff like that.
He did? Oh, wow.
I think so.
That's early.
I think so. I heard it on a podcast, so don't quote me on that, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
It took like Johnny Cash 50 years to turn on to Jesus, and he's not like 30 or something. I don't know.
Yeah, 21st century, right? Everything happens just instantly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, wouldn't those be the most prominent Canadians?
Lady Gaga is originally Canadian.
What?
Yeah.
You're BSing me right now.
No. You can look.
Are you sure?
I'm like 80% sure. It's like I would be really surprised if I'm not right, because I am pretty sure she is
Canadian. I thought
like
she was just
born
pure New York.
I don't think so. I know she was born in Canada. Like she has the passport.
Because everybody who's born in Canada becomes a citizen?
No, kind of.
Yes. Yeah, probably dual citizenship or something like that.
Yeah, we allow that.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts about Canadian everyday life? Or at least, I don't know. Does it differ much when you compare one province to another?
Usually not. Like everything in the middle is pretty much the same. I would say that the two, like, not everything. I don't mean to like put everything in the same bag, but like the two most like effervescent provinces are like British Columbia, which is the West Coast, and now everywhere soon, and Quebec, because we have the duality of language. But by this I mostly target like Vancouver and Montreal. I'd say these cities are very effervescent. They have a lot of immigration from other cultures, like other than I'd say like trans immigration from like America and Canada, like going in. It's mostly like abroad. And
it's probably difficult to get into America, right? Get into Canada and stay there, right?
Yeah, it is.
Because I had some relatives
Mm-hmm.
after the financial crisis hit. They wanted to go to Canada.
Yeah.
They had some sort of visa, but they wanted to apply for the, I don't know, temporary or permanent residence. Yeah, they got turned away after, I don't know, 1 year or 2 years or something like that.
Oh, that's bad.
And I mean, they came from the European Union, right? It's not like they were like African immigrants or anything.
Well, there's something I know that it's I might be speaking from the top of my head, but
that's good enough for me.
Okay, I think that it's easier to get into Quebec if you speak French, because we do want like
oh la la.
Yeah, it's to preserve the I don't know. I think so. I'm not sure.
Is there I don't know what's it called? It's not a patriotism, right? But it's somehow the wish to preserve the French language. Is it something that what's it called? The francophone? Something?
Like the community is called francophonie. Francophonie.
Sure.
It's like I only know it in French, which is ironic. But yeah, there's a feeling, but
is there a pride in the sense that the French language? Yeah, that's what's up.
Not that much. Like I would say, we're not like Parisians, people from Paris.
So that's the stereotype for Parisians.
Oh yeah. I would say.
Is it true?
Yeah, they do. They are proud, and
really,
like most of them.
Even though most of their revenue probably comes from foreigners visiting the Eiffel Tower and stuff, right?
Yeah, but I mean the people who live there, like they do have. They're very proud about their nation, and I mean they like their accent.
I don't know. Have you ever met a French person and then you discuss whether or not you have major differences between you?
My cousin is lived all his life in Paris, and now he lives in Montreal.
So is he a cocky bastard?
Not that much, because he's like, he is in a way, but it's funny because he doesn't like Parisians as well.
What?
Yeah,
he doesn't like his own kind.
He just likes to complain, I think. So everything is.
Oh yeah, that I would say that's truly French.
Yeah.
All the government, all the stupidity, something like that. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, then the accent comes in handy, because everything seems quite, more comfy when they say it with a French accent.
You mean it's easier to complain with a French accent?
Yeah, because when you critique, and it sounds French, it's just
yeah,
right. Whereas when a German complains, you really view it as a complaint.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I've never heard some German complaints, but
yeah, for sure. I mean, then you have I don't know how much the stereotypes still hold true in the 21st century, but I know that after the Second World War, everybody wanted to make fun of each other, right?
Oh,
the Germans about the French about the British, probably the Germans about the British.
Yeah.
Because the Germans, I think even today you could see some TV episodes or something like that where the Germans called the British island monkeys, right? And then and the British called them krauts, right?
Well, there's a funny thing. My cousin, he's studying in Paris. Like, he was born and raised there, and he had like history class, like legit history class from like an old history teacher in
Paris.
Yeah, in Paris, and like good school.
Yeah.
And the teacher was saying something like, England, there is like a reason why they live on an island or something. Like telling that to a class of like high schoolers. I mean, okay, it's a joke, but then it's funny, but yeah.
Do the Canadian French people eat as much cheese?
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah. Now we have good cheese, but yeah, we don't like. It depends. I do, because half of my family is from France. I mean, a quarter, some. But
you mean your grandparents?
My grandmother is French.
And your grandfather was Canadian?
Austrian.
Oh, Austrian.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Yeah. And on the other side is Canadian.
Then you should be some elite genetics.
Yeah.
I would guess so.
Never broke a bone in my life. So
So what you say? The Canadian French are similar to the French?
No, different, very different. There's some like they can't.
The culture is different, right?
Yeah, it is, but it comes from the same root, so we do have a lot of like similarities. But there is some funny thing, like sometimes they pretend they can't understand us.
Who?
The French.
The French.
And we can understand them. No, not much trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Which is funny. But I guess if they speak to some like rural guy that has a thick accent, okay, I can understand. But sometimes it's funny.
I remember one Russian dude who at that time lived in Switzerland.
Yeah.
But he was doing something at some time in France as well. He told me, well, the French have it somehow that they want everything to be centralized. All the bureaucracy is centralized, and everything that's related to the language is centralized. In the sense that they wanted to, I think, after Napoleon or during Napoleon, wanted to eradicate the different dialects.
Yep.
And to have a common dialect. And then once the common dialect was established, then to actually maintain that dialect, even to that form when some new word comes up, that always they wanted to use a specific word that they made up for that particular object, not to the foreigner stuff. So a computer is not a computer, but an ordinateur, right, and stuff like that. So, and I saw the similarities between Latvia as well, because we do that stuff all the time.
Okay.
Right, we have some common usage in the word, but the academics decide, well, no, this should be the word in our language, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody uses that, right? But still, they make the grammar. And so I thought, seems like the French have left some mark. I would imagine that probably comes from being conquered by the French during Napoleon.
Oh, maybe.
I would guess so. Have you noticed that you maybe?
Oh, yeah.
Because, for instance, you travel through a territory, you see something either awkward or just interesting, but you don't know why that happens. So you travel a bit further, then you notice, oh, they do it too, right? And then you find out, oh, look at that, 100 years ago, they actually conquered them or something like that, right?
Oh, okay.
Because I know it was the case in, was it Madagascar? I think it was Madagascar. The island near Africa, right? That the French made I think in 19th century colony. Before that, they have their own economy, their own, everything was the national. And then the French came in, took everything, stripped everything local, brought in the French government policies, French everything, created a sort of a new market. Or at least how everything was structured, how the prices are, how the products will flow and stuff like that. So, and the Madagascar was never the same afterwards, even with the language. So I just remember some anthropologists writing about it, and then I thought,
Did they have like a currency?
I think they had some form of money, but one of the first things that the French did was to actually strip them of anything that could maintain their autonomy.
Oh, okay.
And attach them to their economic policies, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what I did almost at first, just take their currency and make only the French currency legal tender, something like that.
Yeah. Well, that wouldn't surprise me. The French didn't have a compared to the English, let's say, they like their colonial format, if that stands. Is not like the best. Like the English had a much better way of efficient. I not say better historically.
But probably Canada is the best example that it can work out, right?
Well, it was not really. Well, it
was it partly with Britain.
It's because it was France, and then it was during what they call the 100-year war or something. So France didn't have any money because of that. So at one point. They fought against the English in their province, which is called New France, and they fought against the English. Were in the 13 colonies, and then they just won, and the King of France said, "Oh, it's just a few yards of snow, or something." Or
which is probably true, right?
Yeah, definitely not the second biggest country in the world or something.
Yeah, but the population is just 30 million or something like that?
It was
just not that big, right?
30 million.
Population-wise.
Canada, yeah, it's 30 million.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
Germany is what? 80 million?
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
The US is like 300 million or something.
It's plus immigrants.
Yeah, and the funniest thing is they have like the population in prison in the US is 1%, so that's like almost the population.
Yeah, I mean they have the biggest prison population in the world, right?
Yeah.
Per capita or something like that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. That seems to me the biggest difference between North American countries. Canada has the best mix of European culture plus new world ideas, entrepreneurship, everything that relates to the new world. Because America is pure capitalist, right?
Oh yeah.
Whereas Canada seems to me somewhat capitalist, somewhat socialist, like a mixture, like a mix, like a balance.
It's really, I mean, it's better in many ways. Like we do have a healthcare, universal healthcare for like every citizen.
Does it really work efficiently?
Well, we could discuss that because, like, of course,
have people complained a lot?
Like, if you have a minor issue or like something that might not be like a matter of life and death, you're gonna wait in the waiting room. But that is because there is some trouble with the Ministry of Health, and we could get into another discussion about it. But I think it works.
We have time.
Yeah, but like if you want to get like prescription, there is some problems sometimes because the people that work like the pharmaceutics and also the people that work in like pharmacies, especially the doctors there, pharmacists, they most of the time they try to sell the let's say some of the chemicals or the drugs, yes, that are not covered by their government as a healthcare, so they can have a bit more money.
That's what the medical people do all the time.
Yeah,
that's nice business.
So I think it's a bit useless because sometimes you have like some really good or as good drugs you can get that are covered, but they probably will prescribe you some other thing. And also, I don't know, the medical industry is a bit weird. Like the best example, in my opinion, is the Prime Minister of Quebec.
What about him?
He studied like neurosurgery or some neuroscience, and so yeah, he's a doctor, really fine surgeon, but he did work abroad a long time, and it's a shame because I mean, if you study in medicine especially, most of your education has subsidies from the government. Yeah.
So what would you say, that most of the higher education is free? Or almost free?
No, not most. No, not at all. But it's just that it lowers the cost of your education. But then if you go work abroad, it's kind of like, you don't give back what you had.
Oh, that's I think that's the same argument with the Finnish model, because the Finnish have I think a total free education.
Yeah, and so it's a shame because when they go abroad because they make more money. But they
Wait a second, they make more money than in Canada?
Yeah, definitely.
Where?
Our Prime Minister went to work in Saudi Arabia.
Well, all right, that's a whole different planet probably over there.
But that's it, and he did some. He did have like a lot of money, like from tax evasion.
All right.
And that's the Prime Minister, he's giving a great example for.
Wait a second, but legal tax evasion, in the sense that he didn't have to pay tax because he just went somewhere.
He had put some money in a bank account, but when it got like hot about this subject recently, he declared it and said it's okay, I come clean, and he didn't get in trouble because of that, because he declared it.
Sounds like a good move. He doesn't seem like he lost anything.
It's a good move for him, but like it's not a good move for the average Joe who has to pay the taxes. Like he's dealing.
What is the tax rate in Canada?
Oh, I don't know. I'm still a student, so.
I
don't.
I wanted to say, you probably work illegally.
No.
So what kind of student are you then?
I just went back to school. Actually, I applied.
High school?
No. I finished like high school and college.
All right.
And I started working in a restaurant as a cook for 2 years, and now I'm going to university, and I'm going in food science and technologies.
So what would be the career path for you then?
There's many things.
To be a cook or to be a nutritional scientist or something like
that? None of these actually. Well, kind of a cook, but it's I could work for like the government as an inspector for like health and sanitation standards.
Doesn't sound so rock and roll.
No, it's not. But then you can work as like a food engineer for a company that is like a factory or just any food companies that's trying to like provide a product.
What big Canadian food companies are there?
There's many. I mean, Saputo and they're mostly
local.
Well, yeah, in Canada, but except if you go to like Ocean Spray, who makes like they make cranberry.
What about it?
Because we grow a lot in Canada, so that you might.
Canada grows a lot of cranberries?
Yeah, we do.
Really? For what?
Dried
vitamin
cranberries.
C? What?
It's just it's some people like it. It's making juice or dried cranberries and yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't. So Canada is sort of known for cranberries. I thought for maples.
Yeah, maple syrup, which is funny because most of it is made in Quebec.
So Quebec is the maple syrup center of the world.
I would not. I would say that. Yeah.
But do the Canadians really use maple syrup a lot? Because I remember Canadians in Latvia, we have the military group battle group led by Canadians, right? And they when they first came, brought everybody maple syrup, right? Yeah, I tasted it. It's just a sweet syrup. It's just sweet. I mean, you cannot compete with Nutella, man.
It's not chocolatey, man.
Yeah,
it's
like
I mean, apples and pears.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, right? I could imagine myself being in I don't know, early 1900s.
Yeah.
Where you didn't know anything, right? And then, look at this nice sugary bonbon, right?
Yeah. Well,
now
it was first made by like the Native Americans, so that's how they discovered it. But man, it's just you can do many things with it. It's once you like just having it like this or like on pancakes or whatever these American thick cakes are. I'm not a fan of these.
Yeah, it's difficult for me to imagine Canadians eating a lot of pancakes, to be honest.
No, like I eat crêpe, like the French type, which is very thinner and better. And
you put Nutella on that?
Yeah, but I'm a salty dude. I'm like cheese, ham, and maybe asparagus. That's my crêpe.
So you're saying, well, actually, Canada, you have winters probably all over, right?
Yeah.
No region is spared from that. No. But what about summers? Probably have some regions where they don't even have summers, right?
Yeah, well, there is a summer, but like we do have some of the country that is in the Arctic Circle.
Yeah.
But like the northern most reaches are like the summer is like 15 or sometimes when it's crazy 20 degrees and it's crazy.
You have the metric system, right? Everything is European.
Yeah, everything is metric. I will never get used to the imperial system. Yeah.
Seems like a waste of time, right? At one point, America should switch. It probably will.
They're so. I don't understand why, and like it's just crazy. Nobody is anywhere else in the world. There's like two countries. I think it's like America and like Madagascar or some other country or.
Probably some, I don't know, Philippines or whatever.
Yeah, it's just some other island that in the world. These are the two countries. Or like England use miles for distance on the roads, and that's about it.
Do they?
Yeah, they do.
England. Yeah. But they know kilometers, right? They know kilometers.
They know kilometers, but they use like on the street signs, it's like miles per hour. And,
yeah. Well, the awkward thing about them is just that they drive on the wrong side, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's okay then to have miles.
And I guess it was Was it because they used to have those? What's it called when the dude is leading the two horses?
Yeah.
For the chariot. I'm not sure, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so what was it? The left hand. You needed the left hand to do something.
Yeah,
so,
you have like a right hand to hold the rope.
Yeah, to do
guide.
something, and then you had the free left hand for, I don't know, either greetings or some I don't know, conflict, whatever. And then that's the reason why they have the wheel on the right side.
Yeah,
ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Well, they everything is based.
Your prime minister should talk to the queen about these issues. Man, it's just ridiculous. I mean, because some people do take those cars from Britain and try to drive them in Latvia.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because they're cheap. I don't know for what reason, but they say that many cars are cheap.
Yeah.
To get, and so then what do you do with that wrong end of the wheel?
Oh, I've seen one in Canada. It was sparked, and I just looked at it, and then looked back and like, what? That's wrong. It's not on the good side.
Yeah.
In
so,
Thailand,
what about your studies then? What is the career path for you in your mind?
Oh, I would like maybe after this I can do a major in nutrition, and then try and work with like as a food engineer or a consultant for companies to make healthier products, because we do eat really bad food.
What, in Canada?
Well, I mean in America, North America. Like
do you really consider a Canada sort of similar to America in any sense?
Yeah.
Very much. In what? Because I imagine Canadians. If I hear Canadian, right, what do I imagine? I imagine ancestry from Europe.
Yeah.
I imagine politeness. I imagine just a ridiculous fondness of hockey, right? And basically everything else that the Western civilization has brought forth as nice traits of people. It's difficult for me to imagine a stupid Canadian, for instance.
I know a lot of stupid Canadians, but
then
they stay in Canada.
Stupid?
No, like I mean,
or just silly people.
Yeah, silly people. There's some, there's a lot of everything. It's that's very vague, but
can you turn on the light? The switch,
yeah, sure.
By the door. I'll just. So what about those silly people?
Well, I don't know. Like, we do have a lot of like rural parts
in Canada.
Yeah, it's very widespread. So if you don't live.
But you don't have hillbillies, right?
That's what I was getting to. Yeah, we do have a lot of rednecks.
Really?
Yeah. Not a lot. Yeah, we do have some.
That's funny.
Yeah,
I would like to see some.
Oh yeah.
Canadian rednecks.
French Canadian rednecks are my favorite.
So they are what, doing anything rednecky just in French?
Yeah, exactly. Just driving like a.
But then they sound at least more cultural when they do that, right?
You wouldn't, if you hear them, you wouldn't recognize the French. You'd be surprised.
Really?
Yeah, they do have a thick accent. Some of them.
I thought the French accent was a thick accent.
In English, but yeah, because they like to keep their accent. But like these people, it's just like.
So what's the keyword for me to YouTube? French Canadian redneck.
Québécois. Yeah, you could Québécois is like the way to say Quebecer. Quebecer, people from Quebec.
All right.
There's this band called
I'm typing.
Quebec Redneck Bluegrass Project.
Quebec Redneck, quite a long name.
Yeah.
Quebec Redneck Bluegrass Project.
Yeah. They embody the feeling of these people. It's very like I don't know how to say, like it's bluegrass.
Very rednecky,
rockabilly, And yeah, they're quite funny. Like the singer is no
videos. Oh no, here you are.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, just some people acting wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, but quite an interesting video.
I don't know what's this like the most. Oh yeah, I have something for you.
What?
Is type Bonne, Bonne, Bonne. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Like the city of in Germany.
E at the end. It's Bonne is like good in French. E like
like this.
Yeah, but without the I.
Bonne.
Like Bonne.
Like this.
Yes.
All right.
And then space and Fete.
Fête maman.
No, Kevin. Then
Kevin.
Yeah.
Bon fête, Kevin.
Yeah, and then just the second one.
This.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, no video.
Oh no, it's a song. Go back, please. It's a remix. It happens with viral videos.
Continue comme ça.
Yeah, it's continue like that.
Yeah.
And it's just like this birthday of this redneck dude, and everybody's speaking with like the thickest accent.
All right, I'll have it in my search history.
It's the first one.
I hope YouTube will recommend me some.
Yeah, definitely.
Once I type something in my search.
Exactly. Anything will turn
up.
into.
It should come up. Bon fête, Kevin.
It's not this one. It was the first one. Okay, that's. Yeah.
Was it something naughty? He said.
Yeah, definitely. It was.
Because
like,
I think "que" would mean like genitals. Oh, ass.
Yeah, it was asshole. He said. Am I allowed to say that?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. All right, I get it. So, is the dude really called Kevin?
Yeah, it's yeah.
He's
Kevin. It's the first video up there, but like if you don't want to.
Like this?
Yeah, this one is the original one, and it's just like a barbecue, and that's French.
Yeah, sounds like French.
Sounds like French,
doesn't it?
Oh yeah, but to me, yeah, of course. But like some people might not recognize it, but yeah.
I would imagine that France has these type of French-speaking dudes as well.
Yeah, they do.
Because I've seen just recently, I saw a French-made film, Les Touches.
Les Ch'tis? Les Ch'tis?
No, Les Touches, like 3. It was what's it called? After the sequel is
La Suite?
The third film in a trilogy. So yeah, that's the third film in the trilogy about a French family who are sort of, well, not necessarily degenerates, but still some form of primitive simple living people.
Okay.
Who win the lottery, and in the third film, the dude becomes the president of France.
Oh yes, I've heard about that movie. Yeah, I haven't seen it though.
We could probably watch a trailer.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, bande annoncée.
I don't want to. If you look it up.
He was.
I'm not sure if it's a rip-off, not a rip-off, but like it's from an actual TV series we have in Quebec. I'm not
about a family.
Yeah, it's called Les Bougons, which has been going on for really long. It's like it's kind of like a family, like typical like welfare. You know, they're not.
Oh.
And
Les Bougons.
Yeah.
Like this?
Yeah.
Ah.
And it's been going on for a long time. Yeah.
Ah. Yeah, well, the dude doesn't seem, at least visually, the same, but yeah, it might be the case.
Yeah,
it's the same premise probably.
Yeah, it's the same premise, and yeah, it goes on and on.
Because this look, right, like this dude.
I know it's just when I saw the family together, it's proper like, you know.
Yeah, but this, I mean, if that family would be really in real life like that, yeah, seem like just simple-minded people.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, nothing really bad about them, just simple-minded, right? That's what I would imagine. So anyway, you have also people like that in France. Well, in Canada.
Yeah, we do. Everywhere, I think. I bet you have some in Latvia as well.
You could probably find, let's say, people who are on welfare as well, but when it comes to the regional differences, for instance, probably not that much. Probably not that much. In a sense that, well, if you do make a salary, you still most of the time will be just living simple, right?
Yeah.
It's just that I remember I once spoke to an American. It was many years ago. We talked about the average salaries, and he told me, well, in America we try to calculate them per year.
Yeah.
The salary for a year. And we spoke about what are the minimum wages, what are the average wages, stuff like that. And so he told me about what is the minimum where the government would consider you on the poverty line or something like that. And I told him, dude, if you make that kind of money in Latvia, you are top middle class, dude. At least, yeah. Because he told me something like almost $30,000 at that time in a year.
Oh, in Canada it's 20,000. 20,000 is like the under that is the amount of money that you make if you work full time.
Wait a second, you mean Canadian dollars? Is the exchange rate similar?
Kind of, but like Canadian dollar is lower than the American dollar.
So what does it mean? That
it's lower.
It would be more American dollars?
No, it would be less American dollars.
So the Canadian dollar is more valuable?
No, it's not.
No.
It would be less. The value would be less in American dollars.
All right.
That's
got
what
it.
would mean.
All right.
But yeah.
Yeah, 20,000 Canadian dollars. Latvia, top notch, dude.
Top notch, eh?
For sure.
You can get a nice apartment. How is the rent here like?
Well, I mean, in Riga center, probably. Let's say you would like to rent a whole apartment like this. I would say probably would pay some thousands per month. I would guess so.
Okay.
But just because it's the center, right? You have quite good transportation infrastructure all around the city. So best option would be to actually live a bit outside of the center, but still have all the connections, but for half the price almost. Right?
Yeah, and it seemed like a very nice city to bike on since it's very flat.
Well, actually, many bikers complain that there are not a lot of roads for specifically for bicycles.
Oh, there's none. I haven't seen any, and there's a lot of bikes. Like I've seen one, and the most of them just go on the sidewalk because some streets are just too small and they have cobblestone.
And it's so risky to go where the cars go. Yeah, I mean it's sort of actually a shameful fact because Riga has all the opportunity in the world to be one of the top places for bicycle tourists and all of that. Not sure why it hasn't happened yet, but hey, you are still here, right? Without the bicycle options.
Yeah, and it might just develop in a few years.
Because you've probably been to some big bicycle cities, right?
Well, China has this like mobikes thing.
What are those?
Like it's mobile bicycles.
Just for rent?
Yes, but it's in a way that is not like common. Is that you don't have a dock to put them in. They're everywhere in the city.
So they're just free bicycles then?
Yeah, you have to pay like 1 yuan an hour.
And how do you pay?
With your phone.
Ooh.
Because you pay everything with your phone in China. Even like beggars in the street have like their smartphones.
No, you're kidding me.
With a QR code and just asking you to scan it to send them money.
You're kidding me.
I'm not kidding. There's not many beggars in the street, but some of them do have a QR code. I'm not.
Sounds advanced, man. That sounds.
They
damn in China.
Never been on the credit. They never they skipped the credit card. They went directly from like cash or paper currency to smartphones. And now it's crazy. Everybody has their phone and they have an internet plan, and that makes it so that they only have to scan something to pay for. Even some guy selling like pancakes in the street with no connection to anything has like a little paper that is in plastic, and with a QR code you scan it and you pay for your pancakes.
Wow. Did you buy something?
I couldn't because I don't have Union Pay, which is like the national bank in China.
Oh, it's because they have the state-owned bank and transaction system.
Yeah, exactly. Everything is more or less state-owned in China.
Yeah, it's a weird place, China, isn't it? They pretend to be still communists, I guess.
Yeah, they
but then again, how many
transition state?
Yeah, how many billionaires have bought up? I don't know how many other nations' biggest assets. It's just weird. Just weird. What about Canada? Do Chinese people buy up Canada?
Oh yeah, definitely. There's like this law that was just last 2 years ago, I think. Yeah, in Vancouver, which is a city that's it's surrounded by mountains. So the more and more people live there, the more the value goes up.
Yeah.
And they had to put like a 15% tax on foreign investors because they were buying everything, and then the locals couldn't just buy some property or just rent something affordable because they would make the price go up so much.
Did it help?
Actually, they went to buy in Toronto, which is the next biggest city, and they were. I don't think they passed it, but they were considering having like a 10% foreign buyers tax.
You know, actually, when it comes to Canada, I've recently heard about. Maybe you've heard of the Professor Jordan Peterson.
Jordan.
Jordan.
Yeah. He's really famous.
I like the fact that he is criticizing the free speech restrictions when it comes to gender pronouns.
Yeah.
And I actually didn't understand. Is it for real? In Canada, that they made some form of laws, making people say certain pronouns in different situations. So if that whole situation is like he says it is, it seems to me Canada is the only place in the world with that kind of legislation or that kind of problem in a way.
I don't know, because it's not like widespread. It's mostly because of Justin Trudeau.
What about him?
He likes to make everybody feel as if he cares for them.
Because he's Canadian, dude. I'm telling you.
Yeah, but
one of the best people in the world.
But
Canadians, Dutch, Swedish. Yeah.
I met some Dutch people. They were quite nice, actually. Yeah, I agree with you.
And tall.
But yeah, I don't know. Justin Trudeau is a controversial guy. I mean, he's gonna legalize marijuana. Everybody's gonna be happy about it. But then
is he?
Yeah. It's in August when I get back to Canada. It's gonna be legal.
You mean just nationwide?
Yeah, nationwide.
Because he can do that.
It was passed in Congress.
And so the provinces have no say.
Yeah, they do. But you can pass it in the as a federal law, so it applies to every province. But then some province can have legislation upon that law, like in Quebec, for say.
But not exactly opposite to that, right?
Not opposite to that. It's kind of, it could be, you could make like a really weird law to make it illegal in some way, but it has to not be in conflict or in contradiction with the federal law.
Because if you will make it legal, probably your economy will explode, right?
Yeah, it will, and it's very...
Americans just flooding.
Yeah, it's a very good thing for economy, but you see, he's allowing for 5 plants per person if you want to grow your personally, and in Quebec they made it illegal to grow it personally.
Probably a bigger hassle than just to buy it.
Yeah, probably. But I mean, some people do have like some interests in botanics.
Oh well, yeah, sure.
I don't know, but they're probably growing it now, so I bet it's not legal yet. But if you want to, you can.
So how come it was actually a thing to consider? How come that? What was there any cultural pressure to actually have some form of change? Because I think Canada is still a member of the conventions when it comes to those all illicit substances internationally.
Yes, but they just like in Quebec, I think 75% of the population has tried marijuana. It's pretty high.
Because it seems to me if Canada does something, then something should be actually looked into it.
Well, that's not true in some ways because Canada is.
What is the dumbest move Canada has made in the past 20 years, politically or any with a wide impact? What is the dumbest move Canada has made? Because your hockey team still rules the finals almost every championship year.
I don't know, man. There's probably a lot to say about that. We do sold a lot of like. We have sold a lot of war vehicles to Saudi Arabia.
I didn't know Canada produces those.
Yeah, some transport, like military transport vehicles.
Humvees or some big trucks or something like that.
Trucks that can support they're modular, so you can put more things onto it, like weapons and such, and also some military helicopters that they sell to the Philippines, and they used it against some of their population.
Well, that's what those things are for, right? To use them.
Yes, but then Canada has a mandate for peace along in the world, and they do try to promote it everywhere, which is not.
It's probably illegal what they did, right? It's probably legal.
Everything is legal in some way when you're a big company and you have a lot of money, especially in military.
So you just paint the papers, right?
Yeah,
ship
exactly.
it, and then we don't know what they are doing next to those.
Like Justin Trudeau is always for like parity and having same amount of like women and men in the Congress and everything. He's trying to promote that, but still renews the contract to selling like military supplies to Saudi Arabia, which is the
cash is king. Cash is king, dude.
I know, but it's like he's trying to tell the other countries like we are a role model for ecology.
Is he doing that? Is he literally telling people, look, Canada is the best example of doing XYZ?
Well, not like directly in that way, but like there's.
It's not self-aggrandizing, right?
Yeah, but it's just like still saying that we should try to reduce the pollution and the plastic consumption and everything, and he's
reasonable.
Just accepted to build a pipeline across the country.
Yeah, but it doesn't produce any plastic bags, right?
How do you make plastic?
No, but it's just for shipping more efficiently, right? Not to use roads or air, just to use it with pipe.
It's better on a train.
Is it?
I think so.
I think pipes are logistically the best option.
Well, if you have a leak and it's just
until they put sensors in it, they find out quite fast. Because we had, I think we still do. We have a diesel, what's it called? Diesel fuel. Yeah, diesel fuel pipeline from Belarus to one of our city ports.
Yeah.
Port cities. I don't know. Yeah. And funny enough, my father is a real estate evaluator, and he used to joke around, I don't know how to evaluate those land, the land, what's it called? The land object.
Yeah.
Those pieces of land where underground the pipeline goes. Because is it a burden, which would decrease the value? Or is it actually an asset in the sense that if you drill into it, right? Because I mean that was many years and probably still ongoing somewhere. Because I mean people specifically bought up the land that was above the pipeline because the pipeline wasn't down. I don't know how many meters in the ground. Drill a bit, right, and then you can sell diesel fuel on the side. Of course, it's totally illegal.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, you made a pretty nice buck, right? If you didn't get caught, and so what they did was gradually try to make some form of sensors, where they see, oh, the pressure falls somehow or something like that, so they know where to look, where to find, and then but I think they still do it because it's it's just money.
Yeah.
What would you do if you had the chance and nobody knows about it? Ooh.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Do Canadians actually feel the same about money as, let's say, Americans would, in the sense that if I give you a big chunk of money but you need to do something immoral, would you do it?
It depends on the Canadian.
Well, is the what's it called? Not the welfare, but is the wealth of Canada so much that actually people would be more inclined to be no, that's not right?
I don't think so. I think a lot of people would just do it from looking at
really?
We just in
Man, you're crushing my perception of those good-natured Canadians.
It's I don't know. It's I just have like examples of like
give me some.
Mayor. The last mayor was like tangled in so much like corruption.
In the sense that he literally got bribes.
Yeah, well, it was never like it's still going on. Like the whole thing in court is still going on.
All right. So what are the allegations then?
Corruption and for like construction and.
He got some money just to give some permit or something like that.
Yeah, well, it's always like that. Every time they're building something, and they go looking for a contractor, and then they find this one, but this is just the same guy over and over. They're just getting a new name for another company, and they're putting a ton of money in their pockets, and
nice,
mostly like mafia related, and it's not.
Wait, so Canada doesn't have a mafia, right?
It's not a Canadian mafia, but it's like a mafia there.
What?
Yeah. There's a lot.
It's too cold for the Cosa Nostra or anybody of those clans to go into Canada.
There's a few of them that are like Italian immigrants that have. I don't want to.
In Canada.
No, like.
What a funny image, having a Canadian mafia boss. Yeah. Just what?
I don't know. We're not like all in South Park, We don't.
That's what you mean. Yeah.
I mean, it's a stereotype, so it has to be wrong somewhere.
But it seems to me that the healthcare education system is quite sophisticated.
Yeah,
right?
It's good.
So people are not that worried about their life, in a general sense, right?
Yeah, in a general sense, it's nice. Still some issues with the education system, as like private school have like 60% subsidies by government.
Private schools.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which
means that the public can get more in easily.
The public school has a.
What's the benefit of funding a private school by the government?
Because then more students can afford to go to the private school because they have a better service.
Cool.
But this is bad because the one that go to public school have a worse service.
How come?
Because 60% they're sending a lot of money to private schools. That's why. If they put all that money together and just put it on the public schools,
you would need to pay to go to the private school still, right?
No. To the private, yeah.
Sorry, but for the public, no.
Public, you don't.
Yeah, so there you go. I mean, you have free education.
Yes, but it's. I mean to say that
it cannot be that bad. I mean, everybody uses Google. It doesn't really matter if you go to the private school.
Yeah, but it's just that the environment for learning is much better to have someone develop a better.
Sure.
Yeah, I am. It's except if you go to like these like specialty class, like they call it international high school, where this program can be given in a public high school, but not any. And the problem is, if you go to a public high school, it's only the one that is in your neighborhood. So if it doesn't provide this international program, then you can't do it, and then you're with the other ones.
But am I correct in assuming that either way, you as a Canadian would be able to travel most of the civilized world?
Yes, the Canadian passport is crazy. Like going through Russia and China is, you need the visas, but still it's easier. And I got into Europe and they're like, how long are you staying here? I'm like, a month and a half. And okay, go. No questions or anything. It's crazy.
So you have the privilege just as a Canadian.
Yeah.
Nobody asks you, did you go to private school?
Oh.
Did you go to international class?
Yeah.
Who cares? So are those people who go to private school more inclined to be later in government positions or stuff like that? Like some sort of elite?
Yeah, definitely. There's especially I went to Catholic private school, and right next to it was another.
So you are an elitist. Believer and an elitist.
I don't believe in it, but I think it was a good thing to go to.
That's blasphemy, right?
What?
That's blasphemy.
Just saying what?
When you say you go to Catholic school but you are not believing it.
Oh no, I'm not. I'm baptized. That's okay.
Well, I don't get it. You went to Catholic school, right?
Yeah.
So you are baptized. It means officially you are
Catholic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're saying that you don't believe in it?
No, it's because there's before in Quebec everything used to be ruled by the Catholic Church.
Really?
And then it was separate from the government, and then now this establishment is.
But French are not that big of Catholics, right?
Yeah, they are.
French, really?
Yeah, they're Catholic. Yeah.
But they just shag around left and right throughout the centuries. How would they be able to?
Throughout the centuries, they weren't Catholic all along. I mean, sometimes they.
I guess then it's just because the anecdotes are usually about the Spanish and Italian people. Yeah, so religious, and then everybody has venereal disease somehow, right?
Yeah.
Well, look at that, French as well.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, especially in the colonies. In colonies was like religion is the only thing, the only thing we've got, because you don't have any other .
Tell me about the Canadian Constitution. When was it made?
18. I don't know.
Are you sure that 18? Because I think
I'm pretty sure 18.
Because I think Canada officially as a country is younger than Latvia. Latvia was founded in 1918.
No.
And I think Canada gained its autonomy officially 1950?
No, that's impossible.
Sure?
I'm pretty sure the Constitution, you can look it up if you want. That'd be an interesting fact to look up.
Because I think that the region of Canada was some 1800 whatever, but when it comes to the official documentation and
Confederation.
So Confederation 1867, Statute of Westminster, whatever that means.
Okay.
1931, and patriation. I'm not sure what that means. What's patriation? To lead to full Canadian sovereignty is 1982.
Yeah, but it's from it's 67, 1867 is from the moment there's I don't know.
Really? So
I'm gonna.
You're saying 1867?
I don't know. Maybe.
So July 1st is Canada Day?
Yeah.
All right.
But we don't celebrate that.
What? I think you do. Oh, in Quebec?
Yeah, we celebrate Saint Jean, which is our national holiday, and it's not.
Is it in June?
No, it's the 24th of 24th of June. Yeah.
Yeah, because we celebrate that as well.
Saint John.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
we call it the Festival of John.
Yeah, there's the same thing. We do a huge fire and drink and
So, but is it related to anything more than just what's it called, equinox?
Well,
the change of seasons.
It's usually a Catholic holiday.
What? Really?
Well, it is because every it's
because we claim it as a pagan holiday.
Yeah, but every big pagan holiday was converted into a Catholic thing at one point.
Saint John's Day.
Yeah.
Feast celebrating the nativity of Saint John the Baptist.
Fête Saint Jean Baptiste. You see it there. A Roman Catholic. Yeah, this one.
Saint Jean.
Yeah.
June 24th in the Canadian province of Quebec.
Yeah, that's our...
Interesting. Oh, yeah, and so I guess we would... Yeah.
Midsummer, yeah.
Yeah, I guess we would just translate it to Midsummer St. John's Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same holiday, but we just added more meaning to it.
Because you're better than us. I know.
No, you have like the 100th anniversary this year.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, it's I've seen it. I couldn't miss it.
Oh, look at that! There's so many countries with Saint Midsummer. Yeah, and I don't know why, but it's so considered so national.
Yeah,
if you look at it, it's so quite the opposite.
It's
so international. What about France? Fête de Saint Jean, Feast of Saint John.
Yeah, with the Feu de la Saint Jean. Yeah, this is a big fire. This is everywhere. It's a pagan thing.
So funny. So funny. Yeah, I mean, not original at all what we do. Not at all. Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
At least we are not alone in this. So I guess we don't have any original festivities whatsoever.
No, nothing.
Except maybe the Independence Day decoration.
When is it?
18th November. So that's when you would be able to say officially Latvia is 100 years old.
But it lasts for a year, like the whole...
Oh, you mean the festivities?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, this year is full of different festivities. But I think the culmination will be definitely in November.
Okay.
Which is so ridiculous. If I ever come to power in Latvia, I'll change it to July or something.
Yeah, because
it's just ridiculous in November. Many times it's freezing.
Yeah.
What kind of festive mindset could you have?
There is some pretty nice
Not
things
at
to
all.
do. Okay.
Well, if you stand, look at some parade or anything,
yeah,
you just feel miserable.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas in summer, because I just all day in shorts, t-shirt.
Yeah, I was at a beer festival this weekend. It was amazing. Did you go?
Beer festival? Where?
In the park, like, right?
Wait a second, but I didn't know they had that now.
Yeah, it was this last weekend.
No, I wasn't. I have been to, I think, one of the first.
Okay.
Yeah, because they do it there all year, but I didn't know that it was in May. Anyway, so did you drink a lot of Latvian beer?
Yeah, I loved it. I like microbreweries a lot, like special types of beer that you can't get anywhere else. It's like cool to have it.
Sounds a bit hipsterish.
Yes, a bit, I guess so. I'm interested in like finding new ways to make good beer. I don't know.
Are there any new ways? I mean, beer has been around,
Yeah, there is, but there is some old ways that you can rediscover as well. I mean, I do you know about Labiatis? Labiatis?
What about it? No, never heard of it.
It's like Labiatis. Yeah, it's like a brewery that's in Riga. They make really good beer.
Well, maybe I've seen the logo.
Yeah.
But if you say Labiatis, I'm not sure. Yeah, well, anyway. I mean, is it a microbrewery?
Yeah.
Yeah, then maybe I haven't seen the logo. So they were in the park?
Yeah, they had a stand.
Yeah.
A couple, like 8 beers, I think. 8 different taps.
Did you get a bit drunk?
Yeah, I did. And there was some good, what do you call it? Like, this is a Russian word, but shashlik. Is it the same in Latvian?
Yeah, we say the same. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if the word originated in Russian.
No idea.
But the Russians definitely say the same word. What do you say? What do you say in Canada about those types? Pieces of meat just on the
like skewers.
What?
Like meat skewers.
Meat.
Skewers is like the thing that you use to
skewer.
Yeah.
Skewer.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Or like. I
so
don't
the
know.
big pointy thing is the skewer.
Yeah.
All right. So meat on a skewer.
Yeah, or like just meat skewers, or like, or you can say also like.
Because I think the Turkish or some similar nations say shish kebab.
Yeah, kebab or kebab, or yeah. There's a lot of different ways to say it. we say in French we say brochette, which is just like the same thing as skewer. It's just like little
brochette.
Yeah.
Brochette.
Yeah.
So what is broche? Is there a word? Broche.
Broche. Yeah. Yeah. It's a piece of usually of metal, and it's like a straight piece of metal, and you can use it a broche like a stapler is a brocheuse.
What? Really?
Yeah.
You know the paper staple?
Yeah.
A broche.
Yeah, because it puts the brush inside the paper. Little piece of metal.
Interesting. I get the point. I get the point. Yeah. I think I wanted to ask you if you have anything quite culturally differentiating for you in Canada or Quebec, but I'm not sure if we didn't already talk about it.
I don't know.
Right.
Have you heard about poutine?
The Russian president? Sure.
No, the dish.
The dish?
Yeah, it's like the national thing, in my opinion.
Is it a one word? Putin?
Yeah, poutine. It's like...
Or pudding?
No, it's the poutine is the name of a dish. It's one word. It's like Poutine.
Poutini?
Poutine.
Poutine with an E at the end.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, all right, poutine.
Poutine
sounds, first of all, feminine. The word. Second of all, sounds like it might be related to some bird. Not sure.
No, it's a dish that's mainly composed of like French fries, and then cheese curds.
Cheese curds with French fries.
And gravy. Gravy is like
the sauce where you have the flour. That type of gravy.
There's no flour, and usually no flour in it.
Oh,
well,
meat.
Can be a little
Meat fat.
Yeah, it's kind of like you have a broth and you reduce it until it's very thick, and that is what you put on top, and it's hot, and it makes the cheese a bit melty, and the fries a little bit soggy, but sometimes it's just perfect.
Sounds what's the word? Not salty, but what's the word?
Greasy.
Savory?
Yeah, savory. It's very savory. It's like the ultimate drunk food, you know. When you're walking out of the bar, or the next day when you're feeling a bit shitty, you just go and have a poutine.
But it's not real cheese; it's cheese curd, right? So it's white, right?
Yeah, it's real cheese, but it's not a block of cheese. It's like before they put it together and compress it, it's like just little nuggets of cheese.
Like this, right?
Well, like this, and yeah, big cheese curds.
I'm not sure. I don't know. You have to show me.
Like, just type poutine.
Poutine.
On Wikipedia.
P-U-T, right?
P-O-U. Oh. T-I-N, yeah. Yes.
So the white one?
Yeah. That is not the best looking one, but it does the job. There is many ways to... This is like all the Canadian...
What's that?
That's smoked meat, we call it. It's like
just meat on the bread.
Yeah, it's a sandwich, but the meat inside is like they cook it low and slow for like hours and maybe a day, and it's very good. Yeah, that's another one. It's not like a gastronomy thing. It's kind of the thing you get at like the greasy spoon.
But actually, it seems quite nutritious, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's
some carbohydrates, some protein, some minerals, probably. If that's really reduced broth.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about the vitamins or the fibers, but yeah.
Looks very good.
It is delicious. We do love our good poutine.
And it's specific to Quebec, because it mentions here.
Yeah,
Quebec.
But now a lot of like people. Says it's like a Canadian thing. I don't think so. I like it being like a dish from Quebec. People in the US, like, it's a Canadian dish. I'm like, oh, you're not even using the right type of cheese.
I guess so. Anyway, man, I still think I wanted to ask you something, but I don't know whether or not if it was about either conspiracies. Because I recently saw a podcast with George St. Pierre.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I know well, he's a smart dude, right? And he has a lot of theories and actually questions about different things, aliens, conspiracy theories, right? And I thought, well, what's the level of conspiracies? Because here's one thing, for instance, I've noticed that many times Russian-speaking people would like to imagine that there are conspiracies going on all over the world, mostly directed against them.
Okay.
Right, in the sense that it's somehow related to they want to put us down, or that's because the Americans just have their secret service or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. Do any of the Canadians ever say something about that would seem like a conspiracy against them? It would be difficult to imagine. It would be great. It would be great if Canadians would complain about conspiracies against them. But it's just difficult to imagine. It's like Swiss people would be complaining that the financial system is against them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I haven't heard any. The only thing I know is that some Americans think we're just another state because I have bad education.
What do you mean?
Like, they don't know. They think like Canada is kind of like part of the U.S.
Well, probably culturally a bit, right?
Yeah.
Culturally a bit, but politically not at all.
No.
Would you like to be?
No, never.
Why?
I don't even feel that Canadian.
well, what is your identity personally? French?
No. It's French Canadian from Quebec.
That's a bit too specific, isn't it?
How specific do you want to get?
It's like French Canadian from a web from the street of.
Like right? How specific is Latvia? I could just say like Baltic countries.
Yeah, and that would be correct. I mean, look at the ethnicity is basically the same as Lithuanians.
Yeah. Okay,
and ancient Prussians.
But if you go then to Canada, we don't speak the same language
as
culturally as the rest of Canada.
Well, you do. You speak English. Everybody speaks English, right?
Yeah, but the like I do, but not everybody. Like we all can
Wait
understand.
a second. Are you saying that you have in Quebec people who don't really speak English?
Yeah, definitely.
Wow,
like not in big cities.
That's ballsy.
Yeah, it's cultural. Yeah, it's just how we live.
So would say they don't travel around then probably, and if they do, then to some French-speaking countries.
Yeah, or most of them, I'd say, like the younger people, pretty much all speak English, but that is the case in any developed country nowadays.
Not in Russia, man.
Not in Russia. Yeah, you're right. But like in Europe, sort of,
yeah. I mean, Europe is becoming quite homogenized.
Yeah,
which is for my viewpoint quite good.
Okay.
In a sense that, because look. If somebody comes, for instance, visiting, and asks me, "Oh, can you recommend me some national dish?" I usually ask them, "Well, if you really want something specific, maybe you should try the peas with pork fat and onions, maybe that. Mm-hmm. But otherwise, if you have been to Poland, you know the dishes already, right? It's just that Eastern Europe is sort of a mixture of different." Ethnicities, and I mean, you can find gypsies everywhere. You can find different type of ethnicities everywhere. Nothing really, and Slavic culture mixed with German culture, with Scandinavian culture, a bit of French, because I think the French had some impact on our political system.
Maybe.
And I really think about also the structure of the sciences. I think Napoleon had a big impact on different legal and political decisions.
Yeah.
Not sure if they will hold up in the 21st century, right? But at least for a couple of 100 years.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Pretty much. I mean, brought a bit of civilization, I guess.
The legal system.
Well, sort of. You could say that the public sector would be mostly inspired by French, I would argue. And the civil sector would be mostly influenced by German regulations. Yeah, so it's a mixture, right, of both.
Mm-hmm.
And I think actually the Germans have been inspired by the French, or something like that.
I couldn't say about this.
I would imagine.
I'm not much of an historian myself, but I know Well, they did carry a lot of like Napoleon went and like conquered a lot of countries that were still ruled like by kings and monarchy.
The funny thing, he was technically a autocrat.
Yeah.
Which is sort of that's what I don't get about those French people. At least 300 years ago, they sort of made a revolution.
Yes.
Because they didn't like the monarchy.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Now we have democracy. No. Here's a dude, Napoleon. Make him the emperor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It's weird.
So you don't need a king, but we want an emperor.
It's because his right to rule did not come from holy guidance. That is the most of it.
Oh, so you had still one person, but the legitimacy wasn't coming from divinity, but just from regular.
Yeah, he was
regular might.
Yeah, no, it's like a great military tactician and other things. So he was a powerful and influential man. So that's how he came to power, I guess. But yeah, and the revolution was crazy, man. Do you know that they actually like started counting years like from that point on?
And what about previously?
Like, I mean, there's some books you can find, like old books that is like. It says written on year 7 from the revolution because they started everything from like 0 after.
Well,
that.
Maybe it was of importance in France, but no, man, you can definitely find different literature from the 1500s, 1600s for sure. Maybe in France it was a bit different.
Well, you can find some.
Because I think. If I'm not mistaken, I think Casanova's autobiography was written before the French Revolution, right? And he was a Venetian, because at that time I think no Italy existed even. It was just a region of Italy, but basically just city-states. And yeah, he traveled all over Europe. And I think he met with the French king. I'm not sure. It was definitely the 1700s for sure. I'm just not sure whether or not he lived. Oh, let's just Wikipedia that stuff.
Who you're talking about? I didn't get that.
Casanova?
Okay, I don't know him. I've heard the name, but
of course you knew. Casanova. Giacomo Casanova. So, 1725 till 1798. And the French Revolution was in 1770?
80...
What? 80?
1770...
I think it was almost like the same time as... or maybe it wasn't. Maybe the American independence was 1776.
Yeah.
And I think the French Revolution was a bit later.
Yeah, it's 1783, 84, I think. 1784. When is it?
1789.
I thought about it and I said I always get it wrong, so then I picked another year.
So yeah, basically right around the turn of the century.
Yeah,
because Napoleon was emperor 1800, I think so.
Yeah,
quite
he
fast.
was. But I know that in between, like the French Navy helped for the independence of the U.S. That is the only fight they ever won against the British Royal Navy, was because they were fighting against their colonies, like the 13 colonies that had just like declared independence, and then they were like, "What the hell is French doing here? It's France doing here?" They just came around and.
Oh, so you're saying that the French aided the Americans against the British?
Yeah, for their independence.
What about, was Canada a territory that had wars for their independence?
No, we were. It was it was Canada, yeah, at the time, but it was British during that time.
But did you have any resistance war or anything like that?
There was the like. Some people went.
Because even then, probably just the Canadian people just said, "Could you leave, please?" Right.
There was just a lot of people from the colonies that were called loyalists that were still loyal to the British government, and they went to Canada. And then there were some people in Canada that said like that's a great opportunity. They went to the U.S. to fight for independence. And
so what did Canadian territory do? Declare its independence 1886 or when was it?
It was 1867. No, that was way after, I think. I'm not sure if it was when it was realized, but they were like trying to build a train across like.
Because 1860s was the time I think slavery was abolished in America, right?
Yeah,
I think so.
I have no idea.
I think so, 1860. Because the funny thing is, the 19th century was just because it was so eventful, just because the Industrial Revolution allowed it to be with different things. But other than that, it seems to me that the Canadians just made quite a reasonable decision without any real harm.
Yeah,
we'll be dependent. We're good.
Yeah.
See. So, and you are saying that Canadians are criticizing Trudeau?
Yeah.
But what do you feel about personally the critique? Is it justified?
Some of them, yes. Like he said, he was he would try and change the way that the election goes on, like representation of the elector, like the way that we vote. He wanted to change that, which is a huge thing.
Well, what is the current way?
Well, you vote for the local representative, and then that representative represents the party, and then you have the head of the party.
So you don't vote for your prime minister, you don't vote for your president?
You vote for the prime minister, and then you vote for the local representative. So yeah, but you can vote for the prime minister.
But separately, right?
Yeah. So he wanted to change that, but he kind of like, when he got elected, he was like, yeah, whatever. And he didn't, like, it's not possible, so he didn't care about it, which is a bad thing, because that's a promise he made during his campaign. So yeah, but like there's a lot of things. I think he's just he likes to please a lot of Canadians.
Well, there was a time he didn't.
Yeah. So
look at that. He's a badass.
Yeah. But yeah, I had this thing I wanted to say earlier about like immigration in Canada. You said it was hard to get into the country. It was funniest thing is the night during like the election of Donald Trump, our national immigration website was shut down because there was too many people.
I heard about it. Yeah. Because they talked about all those comedy shows. Oh, look at that! The website crashed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because they did talk about it. I just didn't understand the whole shebang.
Because a lot of people were like, "Oh, if Trump is there, I'm out."
Yeah, but it's just for show, right? I mean, how many celebrities? Because they even did some comparisons. All right, what celebrities did pledge that they will emigrate, right? And then who really did it?
Yeah,
basically none. Did you actually, were you in Canada at that time?
Yeah, I was.
Did you feel anything from the elections in the US? In the sense that people are talking, people are worried or anything?
Well, I remember pretty good that night. I finished working and then I went meet some friends in a bar, and all that night was only about that. You know, we're all like, if there was this
so funny
screen on the TV,
Canadians talking about US politics.
So yeah, but it was just surreal, man. Everybody knew it was going to happen, but like nobody wanted it to happen, and like.
Well, wait. Basically, that's what the biggest upset was, because many people thought he wouldn't possibly win, right? So are you saying in Canada they expected him to win?
I did.
Really?
A lot of because I mean, if he just got as like just from where he was to being one of the two like just a representative of the Republicans. I mean, from that point on, he had to win, because it's fucking Donald Trump. If he wants to do something, he has the money and he has the connections to do it. It's like, I imagine just like a melomaniac just trying to drive himself to the furthest point, and that's what he did pretty much.
If you look at it that way, it was a gangster move. to actually do it all the way and get in.
Yeah, it's kind of like Justin Trudeau legalizing of marijuana is like.
Did he actually decide about it, or was he just the person to continue an already established?
No, it was not established at all. Like the previous government in place was conservative.
Interesting.
So
his father was previously a prime minister, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that a continuation of sorts?
Yeah, he was not the best one either, but he did some pretty good things as well. Like there was, and I mean, I don't know about it that much, but like, it's a continuation definitely. It got him a lot of more like. If he was just this other kid, like people would have been like, "Oh, who is he? Like, where is he from?" Now it sounds familiar, and like some people that voted for his dad was like, the vote is sold from that point on. It's just.
You have it in a bag.
Exactly.
So what is the next political period? You have all the elections already done, right?
In October we have the election for Quebec itself, like the province.
It sounds a bit difficult to understand because in a way Latvia has the system that you have local governments, municipality governments, right? And then you have the parliament and the executive branch, which would be the minister of cabinets.
Yeah.
Right. But it's definitely always the case that if the parliament says we do it that way, then it's for everybody that way. And the municipalities, well, they can just complain maybe or whatever, but... Yeah. It's quite almost impossible to do anything about it, right?
Yeah.
So, but that's in our model. For you, I always thought that you have quite autonomous provinces.
They are, but there's some things that is different as well. Like we do have tax redistribution. That's a tax redistribution. Like we have federal tax that everybody pays. We pay two kind of taxes. We have the province tax, and
for what is it? For property?
For products, like you go to the store.
Oh, so it's a value-added tax then?
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
and
the provinces cash it in?
Yeah, the province and the government, and then they redistribute it.
In a way, what do they pay out money?
Like the government can take it, and then let's say this province gets more. And this one gets less because, on paper they need less for like infrastructure.
Oh, wait a second. So one province can cash in an X amount of money, but the X amount of money is not guaranteed for them. They are just the cashiers, but maybe they will get just a part of the money they cashed in.
Yeah. Well,
Wow.
It's
that's bold.
It's some provinces are very like just angry because they say like, oh, this province gets a lot more than we do, and then
so all the proceedings go into a common cash fund in a sense, and then from the fund the distribution. Oh, wow.
But then it's funny because there's a lot of like other provinces that do have like the amount of money they give compared to the one they receive is more than some other province, and then they're like, oh, that's not fair, and then like, yeah, but we're more people there, and there's more industry over there, so they need more infrastructure. You're just like, you guys are a few, so you don't need that much infrastructure because you already have it. So yeah, that is a problem.
Is it a problem?
Well, some people are very angry about it. It's not a problem. It's not a problem. Like, it's not like people don't go in the street and like riot for it, but it's just like, yeah.
So in a way, it is like for everybody else in the world. You always have something to complain about if you want to.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. All right, I'm good with that. But yeah, I'm imagining Canada being probably top 3, right, in the world in everything.
I think it's like 7.
You mean in some Gini index or something like that? Yeah, I guess Denmark was the first, right? Something like that. Denmark, Norway.
That wouldn't surprise me.
But yeah, you see Norway is just, I don't know, the land of elves or anything. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
right? I mean, they are quite isolated, I think, many times. Well, Denmark. Have you been to Denmark?
No, I haven't. But I met a lot of Dutch.
Well, yeah. Dutch would be, yeah. See, Dutch are the best example of how to do some things efficiently, I guess, because I think they are half the size of Latvia.
Yeah.
Well, it's quite small, right?
Yeah.
But they're 5 times the population of Latvia.
Wait, how many people? There's like 4 million people in Denmark.
In Denmark? I'm not sure. I would imagine Denmark has more than 15 million. I would imagine.
How many people are living in Latvia?
Under 2 million.
Okay.
And Denmark is... so what is the last census? Population... what? 5 million?
Yeah, 8, 12, 6, it was 5, 5.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, but the Netherlands, on the other hand... wow.
Okay.
17 million.
I'm confusing Danish and Dutch. That's what happened.
So what do you mean? Did you go to the Netherlands or Denmark?
No, it's just I didn't go to any of these 2 countries. I'm just confusing the names.
So you haven't been to the Netherlands nor Denmark?
But I'm going to the Netherlands eventually on my trip. Yeah. Do
you play football?
No, I don't. I play hockey. Come on.
I'm not sure even that. Well, I guess the Netherlands have a hockey team. I guess.
Yeah, I don't really play hockey. I play sometimes with my friends, but I don't play in a team or anything.
I mean, you can probably beat, with your skills, you can probably beat 90% of the world.
Yeah, probably.
Because, yeah.
They don't have ice.
Let's try hockey in Jamaica.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah. Well, anyway, I think, yeah. The questions I want to ask you, I asked you, but I still feel like we would have some more to talk. But yeah, anyway. So who do you think built the pyramids?
Aliens.
Good enough.
I mean, I watch X-Files. And that's what I was doing before, so it has to be aliens.
What did you do before?
I was watching X-Files.
Ah, you mean just now?
Yeah.
Where? On Netflix?
I have them on my phone, like all the episodes.
All episodes?
Yeah, like 9th season. It's crazy.
How come you are a fan of Mulder and Scully?
I needed like a super long TV series to watch, like while I was traveling. And yeah, I chose that one.
Oh, so are you saying that you don't, let's say, listen to audiobooks or any of that jazz?
I read a lot. I have like an ebook.
So what do you read?
The last book I've read is a Japanese book about like...
just some humble bragging?
It's not in Japanese.
All right. So what is it about?
It's about like feudal Japan, like War of Clans. And
so what is the thing that interests you?
I mean, it's an interesting culture. It's so small country, but they still have like they did have like a lot of like difference amongst like clans and everything, and their culture was pretty crazy at the time. Like
still is, right?
Still is very crazy.
Do you plan to go?
Yeah, definitely. I did work a lot with some Japanese people, and they were very nice. So that's how I got into the culture.
I remember one. I don't know. I think she was maybe Peruvian, maybe Chilean. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
South America, right? A girl told me that in Japan they have sort of an awkward situation where men don't feel comfortable many times talking to women.
Oh yeah.
Right, and so how come? Because I thought all Asians just smush like rabbits. but yeah, she told me no, it's very, they are very work oriented, very disciplined many times. So I told, well, I guess it's not that long ago that it was different, but probably in the last 20-30 years something changed.
Oh yeah, they're definitely like workaholics, and like their ethic of work is really strong.
Well, she didn't say that their ethic is strong. It's just that they don't want to disappoint others.
Yeah.
Right? It's the sense of, oh, well, what will they think?
Yeah, because
some shamefulness, right?
They even have a saying,
which is funny.
Yeah. They have this saying in Japan. It's like the stake that sticks out will be hammered down. And that's why they have a super high suicide rate. Because if you're an original, unless you're an artist or someone that's really well assumed, you'll be cast away or tried to, fit in the hardest way possible.
Would you like to live that life?
No.
Just because you know how to live a different way, right?
Yeah, I think I know. Yeah, exactly. Mostly, but I'd still give it a go for the good food.
Is it really?
Yeah. They have great healthy food over there.
I thought they just eat some rice, some sushi, some.
Yeah, I mean, sushi is not like an everyday thing, but they do have a lot of recipes and good fresh food. Like compared to the amount of like processed food that there is in North America, they eat almost nothing.
Yeah, but probably nothing compares to the poutine.
Nothing compares. Oh, yeah, I won't get into that. It's just they have like this crazy good food, but it's not poutine, and it will never be.
Yeah. All right, man. I think we covered more than 1.5 hours.
Oh wow!
I guess Facebook will still let us be on it. I'm not sure, because I think over 2 hours would definitely be too long.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, we'll see. Anyways, I mean, keep me updated. Keep me updated when you are back in Latvia with your travels.
Maybe.
So, do you have the time frame already? So, when will you be back in Canada?
I don't know. I don't have. I'll probably take a plane on like the 11th of June.
Oh, so
July.
You will July.
Yeah.
Ah. So you basically will, in the middle of summer, probably will be back in Canada.
Yeah.
And then it's off to school?
Yeah, I have to move city, actually. I'm in Montreal right now, which is the financial and...
Which is the capital of Canada?
Ottawa.
Ottawa. Anything interesting there?
Parliament.
Oh. But other than that?
Not really. It's like Quebec and Ontario are two provinces. They're pretty in a similar situation where Quebec is... The capital of Quebec is Quebec City. Mm-hmm. And it's like the... how do you say? Like government and political province.
All right.
And then Montreal is kind of like more cultural and effervescent and financial province where there's more inhabitants than the actual province. And the same thing goes for Ottawa. Ottawa is like there's all of the
agriculture.
Yeah, people that work for government. You know how do you call them?
Clerks, bureaucrats.
Yeah, bureaucrats. Yeah, and everything. So, and then there's Toronto, which is like one of the biggest cities in Canada, which is in the same province, but it's not the actual province, the actual capital.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm confused because province in French means capital.
What?
Province, like...
Province and?
Province in French means... No, it doesn't. It doesn't even... I'm confused.
Isn't it just Provence or something like that?
Yeah, but capital is capital.
All right.
I was confused.
Glad we sorted it out.
Yeah, I haven't spoken French in a long time now. I
but usually in everyday life in Canada you speak French, right?
Yeah.
Huh.
Every day. But yeah, so I have to move city when I get back, and then start school.
See, that's where the difference lies. For you to speak English, it seems quite easily.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you would be real French, yeah, you would struggle.
Yeah, I know. And they do like to keep their accent for some reason.
All right, now I need to ask about that. if they specifically try to actually maintain that.
I don't know. I think some do. I like to think some do.
Well, it sounds quirky.
Yeah.
It makes definitely for a different type of sentiment or feel. It's definitely a different vibe when a Frenchman says something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get you.
We agreed to that. Look at that.
Yeah.
1 hour 15 minutes passed. Yeah. All right. Anyway.
Yeah.
Once you are back around the block.
Yeah.
You can let me know.
All right. Perfect.
All right. Thanks, man.
No problem.